Hey everybody, welcome Facebook, welcome on YouTube. My name is Deborah Westbrook and we're in a series right now about Mary Magdalene, not looking at it from any religious connotation, but looking at it from vision, from perspective, from the uniting of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So I'm glad you joined me. I'm on Facebook Live, so I'm going to wait a while for people to join. So I hope that if you can zip ahead a few minutes, that would be great. I want to welcome people. I'm really excited about teaching what I am going to teach today, which I'm going to actually extend into two parts because it's so moved me and it's so impacted me, this topic. Hey, Rita, nice to see you. Saloma, nice to see you. That's what's good about Facebook Live. I put these on YouTube, but I get to see. And I'm going to tell anybody who watches this on the replay, please leave your comments. And we'll wait a couple minutes. Like I said, this topic is so incredible. So as we wait for people, hey, Scott. I'm on the central coast of California, so let me do a little couple minutes while we wait for people. When I go to the ocean, or when I go to the redwoods, when I go to the mountains, because we have a variety of microclimates here. Hi, Pris. I listen to what nature says, Kathleen, my buddy from Southern California. Nature speaks. It has a consciousness because it is infused with the creativity of the divine mind. So I had a really good time last week when I did that video on the ocean and what the ocean says, because I am an ocean person. I've tried living inland. It doesn't work for me. As hard as much as I try, I am connected to the ocean in every single way. I love it. I love it. And then we have an incredibly non-humid climate here. And if I go just, let's say I'm in Monterey. If I go 3.5 hours, I'm going to hit tons of snowfall in the Sierra. If I go 5 hours north, I'm going to hit the beautiful redwoods. And so I'm going to just keep speaking positively over California, because even though it's a mess, you know what? I'm going to keep spreading an energy of positivity that reestablishes the beauty of this place, because I'm committed to it. Hey, Lisa, I'm going to announce your Facebook Live at the end of this. So let's get started. Okay. I want to talk today about the next section of Mary Magdalene, and I want to talk about the imaginal realm. It's not what you think. I want you to listen to this message. It may be about 50 minutes or so. I want to listen with your heart. I'm going to do part 2 next week. Don't listen with your mind. Don't listen with the voice of reason or the voice of religion. Listen with your heart, because your heart has an emotional intelligence that will speak to you truth. Now, this topic, it kicked my ass because I was trying to filter it through an understanding based upon everything I've gone through. And I found out it was asking to be examined as the beauty of the topic with which it was. Roberto gave me the book by Cynthia Bourgeault, and a lot of it will be taken from there, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, as well as Jean-Yves Leloup about the Gospel of Mary. That's where I get my information, and then I filter it. So I'm approaching this with a newness of heart, not saying I know everything about it, but I'm telling you the very fact that I started studying about Mary and her vision and the imaginal realm, things began to open for me in my intuition, because I didn't question why I should teach this. I didn't look for a linear timeline with which to teach it. I just began to teach it. And what I did was, rather than give you the facts about Mary at first, we're going to go directly to the words that have been pulled out from what was captured from the Nag Hammadi and the things that were brought into vision from Egypt when the church way back when tried to hide the Gnostic Gospels. So I didn't want to give you a picture of Mary based upon her resume. I don't want to know people based upon their resume. I want to know them based upon their heart. I want to know them based upon their energy, because a resume can lie or project an ego that is not really something I want to know. So rather than telling you, it would have been easy to tell you the facts about Mary. You can look those up anywhere. But why don't we allow our intuition to fuse with our teaching in order to produce and flow in a realm that ministers to your energy, and likewise what you should be doing with me. So I didn't want to teach Mary based upon facts. Mary Magdalene is the perfect example for me, being in the world but not of the world. She exemplified accessing the knowing, the gnosis of Jesus, who she referred to as the teacher. In essence, she was not clinging to him in any other reality than the reality which he appeared to her in a vision. And it was totally focused on her heart, not her mind. So I didn't approach this with facts, as I said. So in this Curiosity River in 2024, the focus of every single thing I'm going to be teaching is going to focus on helping you to realize that you are not just in your humanity. You are divinely human, entangled in God, in the field, as a fractal of God with everything in you. You do not need anything outside of yourself, and those or things, situations, any learning experience that comes into your realm will vibrate with the essence of the resonance of your energy. So I'm diving deep because that's what I like to do. I'm a communicator. I'm a teacher at heart. I love and I glean this, and then I bring forth to you just to challenge that divine spark in you that maybe you want to explore this a little bit better. So I want to go to what's considered the chapter 10 or whatever from Mary Magdalene, and I want to start with some verses, and I want to read them to you. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to just listen to what this is actually in the Gospel of Mary. Then we're going to take it apart. We're going to talk about her vision, and we're going to talk about what is the imaginal realm. It is the realm of creativity. It is not the realm of fantasy. It is a real place where she encountered Jesus. It is a higher dimensional vibrational reality. So Mary, in essence, as you look at a lot of her gospel, was talking quantum before quantum was even in vogue, or even metaphysical realities were in vogue. She was moving in that realm, and the guys were moving in a more linear interpretation of having to be shown more and more grounded what the teacher, what Jesus was saying. So let me read this and just relax. Peter says to Mary, "Sister, we know that the teacher loved you differently from other women. Tell us whatever you remember of any worlds he told you, which we have not heard." Mary said to them, "I will now speak to you of that which has not been given to you to hear. I had a vision of the teacher, and I said to him, 'Lord, I see you now in this vision.' And he answered, 'You are blessed, for the sight of me does not disturb you. There where is the new lies the treasure.'" Or in other words, where your heart is, there is the treasure. The new is the eyes of the heart. And then she goes on to say other things, which we'll topic next week. But I just want to focus on when she said, "I had a vision," and it wasn't from my fantasy. It wasn't from a subjective reality. It was a real place where I rose up and I encountered the teacher, and we met in that place. Is that possible? You better believe it. Because we're not talking about imagination. We're talking about a realm called the imaginal realm, which is accessed through an imagination to access the symbols and the prototypes and the reality, which is in a higher level of consciousness, so that you get ideas and you are able to flow in the creative expression of your being here on earth. So when Peter says this to Mary, he says, "We know that the teacher loved you." So what worlds did he show you? Well, incarnate love of the heart, the totality of the coherence of just not living in her mind, but also the coherence of her heart, the mind and the heart, the electromagnetic field, to access the field of higher dimensions, freed Mary from powers said to have inhabited her. She was not a prostitute. That is a lie put out by religion. Nor was she demon-possessed, as if something evil and horrible reality hit her. It was the shadows within her. It was that Jesus wanted to align her chakras in the resonance and harmony of who she was created to be. So she doesn't tell Peter, "This is what I learned in words," because that would have truly reached their linear mind. But moving in the divine feminine, she says to Peter, "I had a vision." Well, right then and there, If you've ever been in any meeting or any of you've been raised in the church in any way, you may not have even heard that. If you were raised even in charismatic stuff, when you have a vision, you automatically, people think it's subjective. It's coming inside you. It may or may not have validity. And somehow it is downed in favor of a linear mentality of show me the facts. But Mary didn't answer Peter that way. The divine feminine never appeals to the divine masculine that's flowing in someone just to move in a linear ego mentality. It doesn't say do this and you will succeed. That's ego. But it goes to the intuition of the heart, and from the divine expression of your heart, what you speak is what you know because you are known. What you speak, the words flowing from the vision, flows from the essence of your being. So it was not for Mary to say, Peter, I'm going to get on your level and I'm going to tell you what you want to hear so you could hear the facts. I'm going to tell you I had a vision. So she entered luminous dimensions of her being that awakened her within to the reality of being one in God. No need for a Trinitarian explanation. No need for Jesus as a savior. No need for a Holy Spirit to encounter outside of yourself. She accessed that which is within her as you are called to do. So these luminous dimensions awakened her, and it revealed what is all in esoteric traditions called the anthropos. What is the anthropos? It is being divinely human. It is being in the world, but not of the world, but knowing you're in the world, having a human experience, not denying it, but taking your intuition and your creativity from the imaginal realm to create into this earth plane, because this is where you are here in time for such a time as this. What are you creating with your life? Studying this topic, which I'm going to go slower because I want to extend it for 2 weeks, has birthed a yearning in me for a creative expression. Why is that? Well, to put it mildly, in the future, I'm going to spend a month talking on AI. I've studied it extensively. I don't use it. Why? Because I believe the transhuman agenda, which is incorporated into AI, to help you do things that if you don't use it, you will lose it. You are divinely human. Why would you want AI to write a book for you or write a song for you? So the essence behind technology is to down your divinity before you truly know it, but to raise up the reality of your humanity, and then they want to augment that reality with technology that only will seek to kill the divinity in you. I am against that 150%. I see there is no good in that, because we have resident within us the ability to access higher realms, the ability to heal our body, the ability to be creative. But until you know that, you're just mesmerized, and we'll talk about this in the future. So I am all about the divine humanity that is within you, that is and flows from the I am essence. So why was she accessed a vision? Why did she access a vision when the guys didn't? Is it because Jesus was showing more love to Mary than the guys? Well, Peter said that, but in actuality, there is an equality in love. It's up to you to access it and to open your heart to it. Because of the divine feminine opened her heart to it, whereas the guys were moving in a linear realm. She followed Jesus to the cross. She was the first to see him risen, and she accompanied him beyond death as the first witness to the resurrection. All that energy began to stir in her, so that it just encapsulated her heart, so that her heart became ready to rise up into a physical reality to meet Jesus, the teacher, in an ascended state. This is not in the mind. It is not imagination. It is not fantasy. It exists with us today in the realm of images and symbols and archetypes. How do you think J.R. Tolkien wrote all the Lord of the Rings trilogy? How do you think C.S. Lewis wrote Narnia? They accessed the imaginal realm, and they used what they saw in the imaginal realm, the images, to stir their imagination to come back down, I want to say down into this physical reality and create. The Gospel of Mary was created because it was created after the resurrection, when she actually saw and met Jesus in a place of a higher dimension. Let's talk about that. Now breathe, because some of you are going to receive this and some of you aren't. So Mary says to them, she's thinking, I'm not going to respond in words to you, Peter. I'm going to give you a vision. Even though, have you ever been in a position where you've given someone a vision? I've been there many times. I've been there many times when I had to put forth the vision and I knew that I lost a lot of people because it had no validity, because they were not moving from the heart. They were moving from the mind. You need both. So Peter asks for words. She answers with a vision. Peter had heard the word, but not attained the vision of it as she had. So there's a quote by Philo of Alexandria, and it says this: "The sage is one who sees. Fools are blind and nearsighted. Did not the ascetic take care to exchange ear for eye, so as to see what he could only hear before?" Have we not heard enough? Are there not an abundance of words out there? Are we not tied to algorithms that are going to totally encompass and foster the simulation that we live in, only giving us one train of thought that is always expressed in words? What about symbols? What about archetypes? What about visions that are not from this realm, but are actually entangled within this realm? So the sage is one who only can see and incorporates hearing with seeing. Seeing is the entrance of the vision of divine light, which is the same as science. This science opens the eye of the soul so as to lead it to apprehensions that are clear and more luminous than that of the ear. Religion has lived in the reality of the hearing word, and I will not live in that reality. I am an intuitive, I am creative, I see things, I'm a visual learner, and so are you. So now let's talk about the vision. The power of the heart with which Mary accessed the new, it's the subtle energy around the heart that access that energy with connects you to higher dimensions. The heart is 500 times more powerful than the brain. Strong magnetic energy with the ability to heal through the emotional intelligence in gratitude, where you access the field of potential. So the wonders of nature, as I went to the ocean, I had to be open to hear what the ocean was saying to me. There was a visible reality, but I had to enter it through vision and not through words. Because if I was going to enter the what I saw at the ocean through words, I would say to you, well, it's turbulent today and the top layer has some turbulence on it and it's hitting against the rocks. So what? And that is what religion has done. It has given us facts, and it's been cause and effect, and it's been moving us to make decisions and to respond to a linear reality, but that is not spirituality. So there is a wonder in nature that can only be comprehended by the intuition. There is a wonder in your life that can only be apprehended by intuition. You are intuitive. So this vision that Mary's talking about, now Deborah needs to breathe, because this is so deep, so expansive, and so profound that it just blew me away, and I can't stop studying it. Why is that? Because I am not only teaching this, I am experiencing this intuitively within my being as I'm teaching it. So when she says, I had a vision of the teacher, and he said, Lord, I see you now in this vision. And he answered, you're blessed, Mary, because the sight of me as I am in this imaginal realm does not disturb you. There where is the new, N-O-U-S, lies the treasure. For where your treasure is, that is where your heart is. So Mary has passed into another mode of knowing. Let's not focus on the dimension she went in and make a whole ministry out of it, or make a whole influencer that somehow you've accessed higher realms of dimension. That's ego. Mary went into a higher realm of knowing. And Cynthia Bourgeault, listen to this. Cynthia Bourgeault says she is without a homeland. In the imaginal realm, you become no thing. And in becoming no thing, you become the essence of the I am. So Mary was without a homeland when she went up into this vision. She possessed a grace, not being caught up in psychic excitation. She entered a freedom from dualism, or from the dualistic reality of the infinite and the finite. She entered the all. She exemplifies being in the world, but not of the world. And she goes beyond space-time to find that Jesus is just as alive as when he was in the world. The essence of who she encountered in the vision was only a different manifestation of the reality of who Jesus is. When Jesus was incarnate in a body, she encountered him in that. But she wanted more and she received more. And it was almost like Jesus said, come on up here. Will you acknowledge the essence of your heart to go into a realm where you will not understand it, but you will know? And it is a deep knowing. You will not get 10 points from what I'm talking about. If you are listening with your heart will be stirred. And through the synchronicities and the intuition that comes to you over the next few days, you will begin to move in a direction that does not need understanding, but needs the essence of your being to say yes. So she was not excited. She didn't go into a vision and suddenly she was on YouTube. The algorithms on YouTube now, they promote superlatives. Like all the channelers, this is what's happening in 2024. You've got to listen. You will escape death. It's so bizarre because it's so egoic. Mary didn't move in that realm. She was not excited because to enter this realm, folks, it comes through oneness. It comes through a settling in of peace. It comes through a knowing, which is be still and know. There is power and elevation in knowing. So the inner condition for all visionary experiences, and then the ability to communicate those experiences, is the ability to remain emotionally rock steady, not allowing any waves of psychic excitation to ruffle the still waters on which the image would reflect. In this place, imagination is not stressed or strained, and it is not fantasy, but it is receptive to love, not ego. Imagination in the imaginal realm brings creativity and thoughts and ideas that lie beyond this realm, and you access the potentiality in the field. Do not try to comprehend this. Let me tell you, I have studied for 3 days, 8 hours a day on this topic because I had never been exposed to the esoteric teaching of the imaginal realm. And it's not taught in evangelical Christianity. It's taught in esoteric realities of theologians that are intuitive and in sync with higher dimensions of reality. When I released my mind to try to understand it, when I got all the information and notes and reading and just sitting there and then breathing, suddenly the essence of what this realm was will be able to be communicated to you, not through words, but through insights that have touched my heart. That is true reality. So if you're trying to understand this with the head, you're not going to. It's got to touch your heart. So there is no need for excitation when we have an encounter or an experience. The very fact, and I am very familiar with that, because in the prophetic and the charismatic, those that were asked to go on stage were always the ones that seemed to be elevated above the rest of us. and we oohed and ahed over their experiences. And we were flabbergasted at their visions, and they made their whole identity about what they were receiving, and Mary did not. You want visions? You want to access the imaginal realm? You want intuition, you want synchronicities and the manifestation of your life to be a divine expression? Then release the need to be seen, release the need to be known, and release the need to create anything out of ego. So if you enter this realm of vision, now remember, the earthly definition of vision is an exchange between two beings in different physical states or realms of existence. This is not that. This is not that. This is not that. This is a oneness and a unity of a higher dimensional place, which is real, where we can interact with nature, where we can interact with the stars, where we can interact with the reality of, she interacted with what was called an eternal prototype. Jesus was the eternal prototype, one of many. He was not a savior. He did not bring salvation. He showed about wholeness. She accessed the depths of that because when he said to her, "Don't cling to me, Mary," what he was saying is that, I don't want you to see me in this form. Let's go higher. And I'm going to show you who I really am. Do you know that? Does that reach your heart? Are you thinking with your heart now and not with your head? So Mary meets Jesus in an actual place. It is neither the fruit of her projections or some need to be filled of what remains of Yeshua in her memory. It is both spiritually and physically objective. It is called the imaginal realm, a realm that is real and not imaginary, according to the definition of imaginary, which is fantasy. It is real. Can your mind even comprehend that? No, but your heart can, and let me show you how. I'm going to go into the imaginal realm this week and next week. Let me tell you how I started to understand this. I was in a time of meditation, and suddenly I began to have a vision. A story began to unfold before me that I was invited into. Well, I was a little taken back because what we were taught was the Holy Spirit. You wait. Somehow the vision comes from the Holy Spirit, which I no longer believe in that term. There is no dualism in a Holy Spirit that you wait for. It is the essence of the breath of God within you. You don't receive anything. That essence is in you. It is in me. So I was in this vision, and it was not coming down. It was coming up. And I saw the vision, and I saw the reality of some people sitting around a table, and then it stopped. And then the invitation was given to me in the essence of my being, saying, well, do you want more? And I thought, can I ask for more? How do I know it's real? How do I know it's not subjective? All those things religion taught us was all thrown to the side. I said, yes, I want more. And the voice inside of me said to me, well, what's in the middle of that table? And I said, it's a pot. And then silence. And then I was like, aren't you going to show me? And the voice said, do you want to see it? And I'm like, yes. He said, then what do you see? And I said, well, can't you tell me? He said, no. What do you see? And I said, there's a scroll in the middle of that pot. And then once I realized that the essence of everything I needed was already in me, that I didn't need permission from any Holy Spirit or any realm outside of myself to see the vision, when I was accessing it with the heart, without excitation, without the need to promote it, without the need to write a book about it or form a ministry or be an influencer about it, I realized that I was entering a realm where I could see and grasp the images to help people. And then I could bring this down to help you access a realm that is real to you and real to me. But you have to get out of your head and into your heart. So the imaginal realm that Mary entered was a realm of creative vision. It was images, it was symbols, it was a higher dimension of communication. How does a person receive a song? How does a person receive a beautiful song? Does it come up from the ego? Maybe. But what if the connection in the imaginal realm, that access to that place of creativity, suddenly gives you a symbol? What if you're in a time of meditation and you're in a higher dimension and that symbol shows itself to you, and from that symbol bursts creativity, and then your imagination grabs onto that symbol and you create something in this earthly realm? How did Tolkien write The Lord of the Rings? He accessed the imaginal realm again. How did C.S. Lewis do Narnia? They accessed the imaginal realm. And they were able to take the images that were given to them, and in the images, inherent in the images, were life. And they were real, they were archetypes, they were things that we could see to bring creativity and to change this planet. But if you submit to any technology going within your being, if you submit to AI doing everything for you, you're not going to access any imaginal realm. You're going to access the height of the simulation, which is going to control you and make you such a dumb human that you will never see your divinity. More on that next month. So you access the imaginal realm and from the heart space called the new. The new is the subtle energy around the heart. Now, I believe it said in the book of Luke and another book that they changed the definition of the heart to a more linear interpretation. That is not what Thomas says. That is not what Mary says. It was the new, which was more important than knowledge. You access this realm not through your mind, but through the energy around the heart. What you'll see next week is that Mary, it says in her gospel that before she could access that energy, she had to get healed of some trauma of the shadows in her life. Well, Jesus prepared her to access that because he healed and put her chakra energy in harmony to where she could access a higher realm. Then in gratitude, she wanted nothing for herself. She wanted to enter her I am essence. So it is an access of the heart and not the mind. So this new is this subtle energy about the heart. That is why the guys rejected, because they moved in a linear mentality. And they rejected her on every level because even though they listened to her, she was hidden, she was distorted, she was decimated. And it wasn't until the divine mind brought up the Gospels of Thomas and Mary that we were able to see what religion has done to be just a simulation in a simulation, just to muster up control and to muster up greed and narcissism, where one person tells you what you should know. That is never how spirituality was meant to be. So the new was rejected by the guys, and they reject it even to this day. Now, without griping about the patriarchy, which I don't move in that realm, I don't even want to minister or have a focus in that realm. If you're not going to if you're not going to accept everything about me, then I have nothing to give you, because I'm going to go where the resonance is strong. So to access this realm of vision, it was an inner peace that governed her emotional and psychic powers. And yes, I have said psychic powers. The vision is not a dream. It is not a fantasy. It is not a trance. It is not her being a medium. It is not her channeling. It is the divine entanglement of her being in a higher realm, a higher dimension where she already exists, but she didn't know it until she accessed the realm of her heart. And from that dimension, when she was able to see Jesus, you notice she doesn't really say a lot about words, because when you access that realm, you're accessing it through the heart. You're accessing through the realm of knowing that when you see a symbol or you see Jesus or you see a prototype or an archetype, that carries with it information that will establish itself in your heart. Then when you come back into the earthly realm, the creativity will manifest through communication, through art, through music, through building a business, through any number of ways. Don't you see why transhumanism has an agenda that is totally opposite to this? She addresses what she sees, and what she sees addresses her in essence, in entanglement, in oneness. Mary is revealing to us the reality of oneness, the presence of God in all. And to access God within, it is necessary to see no division. In this realm, our senses are not fragmented, but are one. And there is no contradiction between seeing, hearing, touching, feeling. In this realm, you respond to your senses. And if that is all you respond to, do you remember the days of religion where people went crying and sobbing and all the shaking and everything that went on, and like the ministry to what only you could see, feel, touch, and smell? That was reality. This is a greater reality than that. That is a linear reality. That is not even real. It is an illusion of the simulation. We're living in it, but our call is to rise up into a prime reality above the illusion and to bring the prime reality back into this realm. So she says to Jesus and to the guys, Jesus says to her, "You are blessed because the sight of me does not disturb you, Mary. Don't cling to me." In other words, don't reduce me to the sensible and conceptual categories of the known. Let me say that again, because that should be on every religious door all over the world. Jesus, how you will meet Jesus in this place. We will reduce him to the sensible and conceptual categories of what is known. So don't worry. We'll tell you what he's about. We'll tell you what he thinks, and then we'll tell you what you think. And then we'll give a duality that says you will either go to heaven or hell, so you will live your whole life working in the duality of a system that never allows you to be divinely human. It is more than that. So this heart connection, let's talk about what Jesus said to Mary when he said, "You are blessed. There where is the new lies the treasure." It is the new is the eye of the heart. It is a property of the heart, not the mind. The heart is the access point to awaken and rise. Why do you think in this time Bruce Lipton and Dispenza and Braden are all talking about the connection? Why is Heart Math talking about heart-brain coherence? Because it is through gratitude that your body is healed. It is through gratitude and love and vision that you begin to know who you are. There is power in the heart. Yet what were we taught? What was I taught? The heart is deceitful above all things. Don't rely on your emotions. They're subjective and they're deceitful. They wanted us to be robots, not creative expressions of the whole. They wanted us as robots, and they still do. But when you break out of this, you realize that there's a subtle energy around your heart that is the access point to awaken and rise out of this realm into an imaginal realm, which is still you're one with. Remember in when I spoke on light, I said it was like the Russian nesting dolls. It's a harmony. You're not really rising up. You're just rising up within what is already within you in the wholeness of being a fractal of God. So the heart is the organ of spiritual perception. Within it resides increasingly subtle levels and capacities of non-physical perception. The new being the subtlest of all, a means of perception of that which is not seen with the physical senses. Why do you think Jesus said to enter the kingdom, to enter the imaginal realm, you must become as a little child? Little children, they don't try to convince you of what they've seen. We thought it was like fantasy. Well, what if it wasn't? What if it wasn't fantasy? What if it wasn't an imagination based upon a fantasy or dream? What if it was real, what they were seeing? What if they were accessing the imaginal realm, and then when they enter the debilitating effects of education, which I have been studying a lot on what started education in this country, and it's a bunch of BS. They started it to develop worker bees with a hive mentality. So you put a child, and that is why by the time they're 7 years old, they lose the essence of creativity and intuition, because you're teaching them in a linear reality to respond to things, and that is never what we were created to be nor to do in this realm. So the new is the eye of the heart. And it is a means of perception not seen with the physical senses. And Bugeaud and Leloup, she says in her book, the new is the eye of the heart. It is a mystical intertidal zone in which divine spirit and human spirit are completely interpenetrating. It's not a division. It's not going up by levels. It's not level 1, level 2, level 3. No, it's not that. Your mind will comprehend that, but your heart is telling you that it is like, do you know what an intertidal zone is? It's when everything is there and everything's a mess and the tide has gone out and gone in and it's left behind things, and you are able to see the water as well as the crabs clinging to the rocks. And the reality of the intertidal zone is the mixture of the divine penetrating the finite. And that is what Mary accessed. And she accessed it through the vibrational field that was around her human heart. It came into spontaneous resonance with the divine heart. Itself, the merging of the infinite and the finite became a continuous wavelength, and authentic communion became possible. Do you think it's possible that you can communicate in this realm with deceased relatives? I do. Do you think it's possible that you can communicate with other beings in this realm? I do. I believe that you're putting yourself into a vast response. But again, it is not motivated by ego. It is motivated by the love energy of the field. I could see I'm not getting a lot of comments, so I hope I'm stretching you, and I hope you don't understand this. I hope you had to walk through what I walked through this week in order to get to this point. So the new accesses the imaginal realm where Mary met Jesus, bridging the created and the uncreated realms within a human being. Now listen, it is both a realm of itself. The imaginal realm is a distinct locality, I want to say, in a higher dimension. It's still one, it's still connected, but we don't know we can access it. We've never been taught, we don't know how. You connect with your heart. And by means of this realm, how the imaginal realm, God, I cannot tell you, my creativity is wide open right now. I cannot tell you the expansiveness of how much my heart has opened by studying this. So to access the imaginal realm, imagination is the direct perception of the eye of the heart. Lisa knows. I talk to Lisa all the time, which, by the way, I want to tell you, Lisa is doing at 4:30, 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30, a Facebook Live on her page called The Celestial Alchemist, just to let you know. So I've been telling Lisa a lot. I don't know where I am. I feel lost. I can't hook into anything. Well, I wasn't supposed to. I was just supposed to follow the path of synchronistic intuitive insights that was set before me, but I fought it. I fought it through linear perception or peripheral perceptions that I should be doing this or I should be doing this, or where in the fuck is this taking me? I didn't know, and it frustrated me. And the more frustrated I became, the less I was able to see and the less I was able to hear. But when I settled into the essence of who I was, suddenly the who I was as a child, sitting in Chicago, going out at 9 o'clock in the backyard when it was snowing, making snow angels, communicating with the stars, came to life. Those realities have got to be established within so many to rise up to create that which is new as the earth is shifting and the earth is changing. Don't buy the narrative of the simulation. For God's sakes, don't buy that. You are the essence of light that will change this world. We are the people of light that will change the world through our creativity, no matter what attempts to come at us. Consciousness is not of the brain. It is of the heart. So the imaginal is a realm And imagination is the direct perception of the eyes of the heart. So when Tolkien went up to the imaginal realm, and I'm just thinking this, when he saw the Hobbit and he saw all the figures, Gandalf and everything, he saw the prototypes of what was going to create his story. And I'll tell you, I watch that once a year. I also watch Game of Thrones once a year because I am mesmerized at the incredible imagination that was imbued within these series that are beyond. But do you remember when religion told you couldn't? Do you remember when it said Harry Potter is demonic and all that? Oh, I'm not even going there. So let me give you a quote by Cynthia Bourgeault, and I'm going to end, and I'm going to pick up next week with more on the imaginal realm, going into greater depth. This is what Cynthia Bourgeault says about the eyes of the heart, the new, the subtle energy around the heart. When all the intellectual attractions have been stripped away, and it is allowed to speak in its own native tongue, the imaginal realm will speak of surprising simplicity and directedness. It will speak of beauty. It will speak of hope and a mysteriously deeper order of coherence and aliveness flowing within this earthly terrain, connecting it to the infinite wellspring of cosmic creativity and abundance. It calls us to a renewed sense of dignity, accountability, belongingness, cosmic intimacy, and love. Our heart gets this language. It is called imaginal because while it is invisible to the physical eye, it is still clearly perceptible through the eyes of the heart, which is in fact what the word imagination specifically implies in the original Islamic context. Imagination is the direct perception through the eyes of the heart, not through mental reflection or fantasy. Of course, Cynthia says, in the modern West, we now view the interior landscape through the filter of Wordsworthian romanticism and hear the word imagination as suggesting something personal, subjective, illusory, or made up, which is, of course, the exact opposite of what the term is intentionally intended to convey. The imaginal is a meeting ground, a kind of cosmic intertidal zone, as in all intertidal zones, nourishment and metamorphosis furnish the principal order of business here. In this realm, the fruits of our human striving, both conscious and unconscious, are offered up to the whole. This is from Bourgeault's book, Eye of the Heart, A Spiritual Journey into the Imaginal Realm. So let me end here. When you have nothing to prove and nothing to lose, when you have realized that being no thing does not strip you of your identity, but helps you see an identity that you could never perceive while ego was in control, then you enter into the depths of your creativity. Do you know how long I've been hiding? Do you know how long I've been hiding? I've known since I was a child that the depth of creativity in me was strong and it was real and it was true, but there's been an agenda almost from so many people, even my parents who I love but didn't understand it. The church, all this stuff formed a layer over my intuition, and it's free. And when you get to that place, there's a way to say things, okay? When you say things from the mind, it's like, I don't give a shit what anybody says. But when you say things from the heart, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm going to follow my path. It's not confrontational. It's not antagonistic. I cuss, I swear, I get angry, I have good days and I have bad days. And the integration of everything of what I am is being brought forth into such a time as this. And I'm following my intuition. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Some of you may not have to re-listen to this. Some of you may. I would. Don't go into the next Facebook Live next Saturday thinking that you understand this, because I didn't. Some of you may understand this more than me, but I am a woman who speaks about curiosity and process. So the very fact that I didn't understand it was part of the journey of speaking it to you with the divine excitement that I have within me, that I knew that this is changing my life. I'm not teaching this. I'm experiencing everything I'm speaking. I'm experiencing. So I'm going to go back and read your comments, and I want to feel free. I'm going to go back, and I know they're going to really touch my heart. And I would encourage you, Lisa Brown, 1:30, 4:30 Eastern, for the astrological basics she's going to talk about. Lisa and I are really connected. I love her deeply. Her astrological is professional, intuitive, and beautifully expressed. So she's going to talk a little bit about the essence and the basics of astrology to help you understand. Thank you guys for listening. Oh yeah, Lisa says you can watch on her page too, Lisa Brown. Thank you guys. I appreciate. We're all in this together. Stop being so linear. Stop being so earthly minded that you've walked away from true spirituality. Don't be afraid what your family says or what your friends. Get rid of all the old beliefs and find a new way of navigating in time and in space for such a time as this. Thank you guys. Love you.